Okay, this has been an extremely interesting week outside, at least garden-wise. Um, it has rained every single day this week, anywhere from a half inch up to 2.5 inches a day. Today, I think, might actually be the first day it has not rained in over a week. And it is still real hot and humid, but at least it might not rain. What I'm showing here is I planted the alfalfa about a week ago, and it has started coming up, as you can see right there. So I was looking over in our potato area, which I'll get to in a second, and it is pretty much growing everywhere in that area, so we're real happy about that. What we're not really happy about is the Yukon Golds over here, that they weren't quite ready to harvest when we harvested the rest of them. So we were going to let them sit, and then it started raining. Well, the ground got too wet, and as you can see, we tried harvesting a couple plants, and it was just like a soupy mess in here and started rotting all the potatoes, so we lost our entire potato harvest. So that was extremely unfortunate, because these Yukon Golds were actually nice size. The rest of our potatoes, which is what all these were our Yukon Gems and our Purple Majesties. Those were very small potatoes. Like, here's one right here. So there, put my hand there for reference. That was actually a larger potato of those. So I got upset with those, so we just harvested those. And a friend of ours has like a little farmer's market that she does at her place, and so we just made them go away. But we were going to use these Yukon Golds with the leeks to make a bunch of potato leek soup, but that's obviously not going to happen. The leeks so far seem to be doing good. They don't seem to be dying on us. We're going to harvest those Wednesday. The reason we're going to harvest them Wednesday is because Thursday is our friend's farmer's market day. So we're going to harvest them Wednesday and then drop them off to her. And then we're going to keep some so we can make potato leek soup. And then we're going to give the rest to her. So we're going to do that. The water's actually receded a lot. It's actually receded a lot since this morning when we came out. The water, let me stand where the water was yesterday. All right, where I'm standing right now, which is about right here, this is where the water was yesterday. So everything to the right of me, all the way to the edge of the woods over there, was just nothing but lake. And this is part of our long-term goal of to get the water out via the swale. So as soon as all this dries out, then we're going to, I'm going to continue the swale. And unfortunately, as low as our slope is, the water kept, the underground portion of the water made the dirt super saturated through here at the bottom of the garden here, which is why I'm surprised the leeks are not doing bad, but I will take it. The watermelon obviously is doing good, so we're gonna have more watermelon than we know what to do with here in a little bit. we're gonna be harvesting these, the beets and the carrots here pretty quick. The carrots, I think, we lasted, I think they're too far gone because we got one earlier and it was extremely woody and not really edible. So I don't even know if the carrots are going to be edible. Then the other thing that we did was, I'm not going to walk over there, I'll just zoom in, but let me, okay, over there, that's where the turmeric is, because with the storms late last week and early this week, it pretty much collapsed the rest of our former tunnel, and so we had to move the turmeric. Luckily over there, that's in permanent shade, so Andre was concerned about the turmeric not being in, about it not being in shade. So we got our new and improved plastic pallets that we got on Monday, which is helping with that. So let me go in the greenhouse so you can actually see what the garlic is doing. Okay, inside of the greenhouse now. Now, the last of the garlic that we did of the elephant garlic is 3 weeks out of the ground, which is this over here. The first of the elephant garlic that we did is basically 4 weeks out, and that's the bottom row over here and the top row on the far side. And I'll get back to that in a minute. And so Andrea wanted me to show, this is the green garlic that we did not obviously use this year. So we're going to bring it in and we're going to store it and we're going to put it back in the ground. And then here's the Parisian star garlic. This has been curing for 3 weeks now, so we think this is ready. So we're going to bring this in and we're going to prep it, and we're going to either use it or sell it, because this was our test year for Parisian star. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to come down here and I wanted to grab one of these. I wanted to grab one of the bigger ones. Like, I'm going to grab this one right here, and we're going to take it inside and I'm going to cut it to see if it's ready. And I'm going to do it on video so then my aunt can see it and then she can actually tell me if it's ready. So I'm going to grab this one right here, which is a nice cloved out one. And then I'm going to grab a nice one, which is an onion. So let me grab one that's down here somewhere. I'll grab this one right here. Okay, so I'm grabbing that one right there. That's a fairly large size onion one. And so I'm going to go inside and I'm going to cut those. Reason I'm going inside to do it is because it's like 90 degrees outside right now with like 80% humidity. And inside this greenhouse, it's over 100 degrees with about 70% humidity. So I'm going to wait for Andrea to finish whatever she's doing, and then we're going to show you our blueberries, and then we're going to go in. All right, on a side note, the sisters are actually been doing pretty good. The only time this area really got really wet was the day we got the 2.5 inches of rain, where the water breached the swale. And so it's been drying out in here. So I think it's actually dry enough for them to do dust baths again. Today is Sunday, which is Father's Day. So we had a Father's Day grill where I got to grill steaks, and Sherlock just escaped. And there's Lady Pants. And so we also got corn on the cob that we did. We kept the corn on the cob in the husk and grilled it that way, which was really, really good. And so we chucked the cobs when we were done with them in the coop or in the run and let the sisters go at it. Now on the plus side, with all the rain, the buckwheat is actually finally starting to take off pretty good. So little by little, the buckwheat is actually starting to take over out here, which it was kind of concerning me there for a while. But more and more, I'm actually starting to see buckwheat over other weeds out here. So with it, I was concerned that it was broadcast instead of drilled. I was concerned that it was 2 weeks after it had been cultivated back here. And I was concerned that it had already rained 2 or 3 times within that 2 weeks, which made the ground kind of hard. That I was concerned that a lot of the buckwheat would not germinate. But the buckwheat, it's germinating at different times, but it is actually doing a lot of germinating here. And if you look here and see these little lines right here, like right there, that's where I had broadcast spread it with the tractor, and then the next morning I used our Redneck Cultipacker, which was 10 feet wide, and went through and I ran over the entire field with it. So where these little lines are was actually the tractor tires doing the cultipacking. So that was some of the first buckwheat that actually germinated, because it actually had dirt contact with it. And then Andrea wanted me to show you about the blueberries. We're in the process of moving the blueberries into fabric pots right now. Since we have our nice plastic pallets, we can do it. We had one of the ladies from the Clemson Farm Extension come out a couple weeks ago, and she was looking at the blueberries, and she said that the blueberries don't like being in the ground because they said they don't like their feet getting wet. And she said that they're stunting their growth because when it rains, the roots are getting too saturated. So we came out yesterday and dug up 6 of them and put them in fabric pots. And so we're going to do that to the rest of them, because 18 of them total. And then what we're going to do is, when the swale ended at the end of the fence over there, but when it breached, it also breached, it went around the swale and was coming up from this side of the swale and going around that way. So what I was wanting to do was take the swale all the way from over there and take it all the way to right there, because where the big weeds are right now, that's a swale that was existing before we bought the property. And so that's what I'm going to do, because blueberries need low pH. And so I know the ground in this area is fairly low pH because we've had it tested before. And all this stuff down here, all this low growing stuff, is called rustweed, and it thrives in a lower pH environment. And so at some point we were going to put lime here and start raising the pH so we can start getting rid of the rustweed, so we can get other things like Bahia grass or Bermuda or something like that. But that's a future us problem. So I'm going to cut the swale, continue it all the way over to here, and then I'm going to take that dirt And then I'm going to make a berm that's going to go all the way over on these 2 rows, and then we're going to plant the blueberries on top of the berm, so then they'll be elevated and out of the ground. Because we've looked at some blueberry fields that are not too far away from us, and that's what they do, is that they basically have like a large hill or small berm, and the blueberries are sitting on top of it. And so wanted to walk over here. I can't tell. The new farmer over here planted this, I want to say about June 5th. And in our area, June 5th is about the maximum cutoff for peanuts. So that might be peanuts and it might be soybeans, but it's going to be one of the two. We'll know fairly quickly, because if it stays low to the ground, we know it's peanuts, and if it gets up a little higher, then we know it's soybeans. So that's the blueberries. So Andre wanted me to tell you about the blueberries, so I did. And so I think that's it for out here right now. And actually, one other thing while I'm out here, let me zoom in. Whoa. Okay, there we go. This corner right there, that's the high point of the entire area. And it normally does not have anything grow in it. It's like a desert environment up there, except when we get a lot of rain in a continual basis, then it will actually grow for a little bit. But then as soon as we don't get rain for a little bit, it dries out very quickly, and then whatever is growing in there, it dies out. So I don't know what's growing up there, but something's growing up there, but it's not going to last too long unless we get continuous rain like every other day, which normally doesn't happen. So I'm going to be quiet now, go inside, and then we'll deal with the garlic.
Go.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do what Andrea wanted to do from last year. Is I'm going to cut this at about 8 inches just to see what it is like up here. All right, so that's all nice and dry right there. And so now I'm going to cut it closer.
No, 2 inches. No, that's 1 inch. One more. There you go.
Okay. So that's actually still green right there, which means it's not ready.
Right.
Okay. So I was kind of hoping that these things are going to be ready. So if this one's not ready, then I know that one's not ready. So I'm going to put it back out. So just out of curiosity. Okay, so or if you're like me and you're curious,
4 inches?
4 inches from the top is where it goes from, actually,
Dry to green.
dry to green. So it's probably going to be about another week or so.
No, we can keep that one in.
So yeah, this one's going to stay in. I'll take that one, I'll put it out. I'm not going to cut it because this one has a smaller stem than that one. So
Okay.
I was hoping these were going to be dry, but I had a feeling that was not going to be the case.
Start.
This is one of the Parisian stars, and so oh, it's actually still green right there, which means they're not ready yet.
Dang it.
So these are going back out.
I'll turn that one up and we'll keep that one in.
Okay, so that one's going to stay there. Okay, I was just looking at the paper of these, and the paper of these were like they were ready, so they're evidently not. So, except for the ones that we cut, they're going back out. So I'm glad I decided not to go ham on these. So the ones that are, so Andre's going to try one of the green garlic now. Now the Parisian star's only been curing for 2 weeks, so that's probably part of it. So Andrea's trying the, okay.
That's dry.
All right, that's dry.
Dry.
That's dry.
That's dry.
Okay. So the green garlic has been curing for 3 weeks, and it's obviously smaller. So, except for the one that had flowered out. Now, it obviously did this after we harvested it. So, because if it was,
There's some seeds.
and so Andrea wanted me to show the seeds, which are right there.
That's that version of ball bills.
So that's what the ball bill looks like for the green garlic. So, all right, I just asked Andrea if garlic was self-pollinating. She said yes and no, so that cleared that up. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I was just seeing if any of these others were ready, because obviously if this did not appear until, but it was outside, so theoretically a bee could have got in there and pollinated it. So I don't know. I'm not going to rack my brain around it. So yeah, we'll try again. We'll try again with another of the larger onion garlics next week to see how they're doing. So I was hoping that they were going to be this week, so then I have less turning I have to do, but if I have to do it for another week, it's not the worst thing in the world. So that's a mushy garden update after raining for a full week, and a garlic curing after 3 full weeks, with some of the garlic, some of the elephant garlic curing for 4 weeks.